City, and the NFL at this year's Pro Bowl. Visit ProBowl.com to buy your ticket and experience the excitement, energy, and the passion of the Pro Bowl. The 2022 Pro Bowl, presented by Verizon, Sunday, February 6th at 12 p.m. Pacific at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. Get your tickets now at ProBowl.com.
Canty and Golick Jr.
Ramon Foster joins us right now. It is real AFC North in here, by the way. Like, with Ramon and Chris, like, do I need to clear out the room and get ready for Oklahoma to start live on air? You guys gonna be able to play nice?
Nah, we good, Gojo. This dog don't hunt no more, so I don't know how Ramon feels, but I don't want none of that. I don't want none of that smoke. I'm all good. My cleats and my jerseys are all hung up.
Canty and Golick Jr. Weekdays at 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN Plus.
ESPN Honolulu is Hawaii's sports leader. KKEA Honolulu, 1420 AM and 92.7 FM. Part of the IO family of companies.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Dave Mager. Opening drive, A.J. Dillon scores on a 6-yard touchdown run. Green Bay still up 7-0 early second quarter. Temperatures in the mid to low teens. The 49ers -7 total yards. The 49ers, Fred Warner jammed it away from Mercedes Lewis for a fumble, but a Rashawn Gary sack, and the Niners were forced to punt. AFC, the Bengals go to KC or Buffalo next week. They beat Tennessee 19-16. 3 Ryan Tannehill interceptions, including one by Logan Wilson with 20 seconds left. Joe Burrow hits Jamar Chase for 19 yards, and Evan McPherson lines up a 52-yard field goal attempt.
For the win. The snap, the put down, the swing of the right leg.
Yeah, baby.
It's on its way.
Yeah, baby.
It is good. Coffin nails.
Bam, bam, bam. That is unbelievable.
Dan Hoard, Dave Lapham on ESPN 1530. Burrow, 28 of 37 for 348, 1 interception. Jamar Chase, 5 catches for 109 yards. NBA, the Bulls, Alex Caruso could miss up to 2 months in Milwaukee last night.
Ben DeSumu's got it, hits the trailer, Caruso, and a hard foul on Grayson Allen as Caruso hits the deck.
Dave Pash on ESPN, a broken wrist suffered on a flagrant 2 foul by Grayson Allen of the Bucks. Tonight, mid-fourth quarter, Milwaukee leading Sacramento 105-97. Anthony Davis of the Lakers upgraded to questionable for Sunday at Miami. He has missed 16 games with a sprained knee.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Buffalo waxed the New England Patriots, and everybody's like, they're going to do it. They beat Kansas City the first time around. That's going to be pressure on them when they roll up in the Arrowhead.
This and more, Monday, starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
Welcome to the Rivals Pregame Show on ESPN Honolulu. Brought to you by Rivals Sports Bar and Lounge. For every sport, for every game, for everyone. In the Waikiki Malia by Outrigger.
Welcome to the Rivals Pregame Show here on ESPN Honolulu. Gary Dickman and Derrick Lowe here. We'll take it up until about 4:50, then send it over to Bobby Curran, who is in the arena right now getting ready for the Cal Poly Hawaii game. We'll get more on Cal Poly a little bit later. We'll talk about the Hawaii team and where they are in the Big West standings, get you updated with scores. We'll also have a very special guest, former Bo Alika Smith will be joining us in about 14 minutes from now. Stay tuned for that. Derrick, let's start off talking about Thursday night. What a game it was, and we were anticipating a physical game. Bakersfield was the team that gave Hawaii fits last year. Both games here at the Stan Sheriff Center. It was a low-scoring game. We talked about Bakersfield before the game, and it was a close game at halftime. Bakersfield taking the lead at 28-26. And again, in the second half, Hawaii comes out with the right adjustments, takes an early lead that almost went away at the end, but a couple of free throws by Madut sealed the deal. What do you notice about halftime? It's like every game, Hawaii comes out in the second half on fire with the proper adjustments.
Yeah, well, I think that Coach Aran Ganat and his staff do a really good job of recognizing, what's working, what's not working, and then they do a good job of coming together and figuring out solutions coming into the second half. And when you think about it, that's pretty much what basketball and a lot of other sports is, right? Like, you come out with your game plan. The other team has their game plan, right? The other team makes adjustments. You got to make adjustments to them. And it's the team that can constantly make adjustments while still performing, is the one that usually comes out on top. And UH has shown the ability to do that really well.
We talked before the game about Bakersfield and their defense. They didn't have a really strong offense. Their numbers were kind of low, shooting percentage and points per game, but they did the same to their opponents, holding teams to about a 41% shooting, also on threes in the low 30s. And Hawaii, I think, was tested on their three-pointers early in that game, and actually throughout the game. But I like the fact that maybe it was a halftime adjustment or maybe just throughout the game, they took better shots. They didn't settle for the threes. They weren't forcing threes. They only took 3 in the second half. But overall field goal percentage, again, another great performance, 68% in the second half on 15 of 22 shooting, and they didn't force the threes, only 1 of 3. I love the intelligence that this team is showing, maybe taking what the defense gives you, but also making the right adjustment and having different ways of attacking, and it worked this way with the 2-point game as opposed to the 3-point shooting that we've seen in games past.
Yeah, and going into the game, we knew that Bakersfield was going to play a type of defense that was, a little bit of chaotic, the way they like to get up, get in the passing lanes. They like to throw in help, sometimes over helping a lot. So, sometimes as an offensive team, it's kind of enticing, to kind of, be quick and try to, rush and take some unnecessary shots. But it was really encouraging to see UH really kind of, tone that down and really kind of stay solid to their game plan. And, I just really like how their bigs are willing passers. They're very smart when they do their cross screen and coming off the horns cut backdoor screen and all of that stuff. They're really good about that. And I like the way that we pass and can score off of that, so we don't always have to rely on 3-pointers.
There were several times, maybe more in the first half, some in the second half, where I was listening to Bobby Curran on the broadcast saying, and the shot clock's winding down, they'll have to get a shot off. And that, you give credit to Bakersfield defense, sure, but also Hawaii's patience. Again, they weren't forcing, they weren't rushing, and they shot a really good percentage. Now, that was more in the second half. First half, they started off okay in a low-scoring game, but they didn't play well the last 3-4 minutes of the first half, hence Bakersfield getting that lead of 2 points that they got. It was a 3-pointer by Hawaii right before halftime that closed it to 2. But in the second half, again, only 22 shots taken as opposed to 30 in the first half, but that patience. You can use the shot clock. There's no reason to rush shots, and I think that was really working well for Hawaii. Another note, and this is now the second game in a row you and I have talked about, Noel Coleman still having a great year, still leading the Big West in scoring, 2 games in a row without a 3-pointer made. To me, that's not a bad thing, especially because Hawaii is winning despite that.
Yeah, just a couple of comments about that is, one, it's encouraging to see, how UH responds when their main man and leading scorer isn't having that type of game from the outside, nor is he had 10 points, if I'm not mistaken, which is not bad, but it's not his usual, right? So it's encouraging to see how UH can come together and find production from others while Noel is having that kind of game. And then the other thing I wanted to bring up was, I think this was the first conference road game for UH. And, it was going to be, right, is that correct?
The second. The Long Beach State game 2 weeks ago today with their first.
That's right. So, a road game, you're not going to shoot the same on the road. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. But I wasn't expecting, our guys to shoot the same like they do at home. And I wanted to see, again, how they would respond. Can they, go to a different game plan? Can they, play more motion and get to the basket mid-range or whatnot? And, like we saw, UH was able to be successful at both. So that was good.
Gary Dickman and Derrick Lowe in the Rivals Pregame Show on ESPN Honolulu, also on our Facebook page as well. And one of the things about Noel Coleman, getting back to him, he took only 3 threes on Thursday. Last week he took 5 and missed them. If it wasn't obvious before, I think it is now. Every team that Hawaii is going to play, no matter how Noel plays the rest of the way, they're going to key on Noel Coleman, and they're not going to give him those threes. They're going to do whatever they can to limit the attempts, and for the opponent, hopefully limiting the makes as well. But Hawaii has found those other ways to get the job done, and I think that's a great attribute for the coaching staff and the players. But I know teams are aware of Noel. They saw what he was doing with Big West Player of the Week, the record threes that he hit, all the stretches he had in December and early January, and they're making things difficult for him. But again, other guys have really stepped up, and the balance of this team shows throughout Big West play so far, and hopefully today as well.
Yeah, and Noel's a player. Noel has faced teams that have keyed in on him and have tried to run him off the three-point line. So he knows exactly what he has to do. He has to be more aggressive with the dribble and create. I've seen him make a lot of plays off the dribble where he made some nice passes, found the right guy, made the right play, and then he also has to look for other ways to get open, which is in transition. We saw a few games ago where, they were running him off the three, but instead of getting it within the flow because they were paying too much attention to him, he ran out on the break, got a quick three in transition, and he made several of those. So he just has to pick his spots and still remain aggressive no matter what.
And he played 34 and a half minutes. He had 5 rebounds, had a couple of assists. Did have 2 turnovers, not bad for 35 minutes. Also was a +9 in the rating. When Hawaii wins this game as close as they did by only 4, +9 is good. Jerome DeRosier, let's talk about a few other players. For the first time in 4 games, did not have a double-double. Still, I thought he did a really good job for DeRosier. He did have 16 points, and he did have 6 rebounds. But I thought DeRosier, again, contributing in every way possible.
Oh, yeah. DeRosier, he's their main, I think, vocal leader. He's their main leader on the floor. He holds it down in the paint. In the past games, he was the one that we relied on most to guard Velp, to guard the other guy. I can't remember his name. But he's heavily relied on to be a defensive stopper and be productive on offense. So it's a lot of asking for him to do, but he's been coming through each and every game. So I like the direction that he's been heading in. We're definitely going to need him tonight to continue to grab rebounds, to maintain the paint, because they got a good big guy in there, who's one of the best big guys in the Big West. So, he's definitely going to have to be called upon again today, but definitely love the way he's playing.
With all the players we keep talking about, it almost seems like Junior Madud is the forgotten player in a way. We talk, even when Kamaka Hepa has struggled at times, we still bring his name up. Junior Madud has been a steady, confident player. He hit the big 3 free throws at the end of the game, as I mentioned, but he has really added a lot, both offensively and defensively. He was the leading scorer on Thursday with those 17 points, 6 of 10 shooting, and he made a couple of threes for Hawaii. I think he's one of those players that you almost forget about at times, but you also have to remember to credit him because he is a consistent player that brings so much to this team, and he did a great job again on Thursday.
Oh, yes. I mean, I think I picked Junior Madud a few times early on in the season, as the H-factor player, and he's one of the key players that UH has. But I think it's a good thing to have when you have different various players who may not show up one game, but, if someone else is not having a good game, who can fill the shoes in that game, right? So, I like what Madud brings to the table. He brings a lot of passion and energy on defense. He's long. He can get to the basket. He's good with his dribble, and on most nights, he has a good shot. So it just depends, but he's definitely a main player.
Very steady player for Hawaii. We're going to talk with another steady player from Hawaii's past. That'll be Alika Smith coming up in just a minute. Also, when we come back, even though this is the Rivals pregame show for UH basketball, I do have some information that will be very interesting to everybody regarding UH football. I'll tell you the breaking news when we return in just a minute, as you're listening to the Rivals pregame show, brought to you by Rivals Sports Bar and Lounge, for every sport, for every game, for everyone in the Waikiki Malia by Outrigger.
When we talk about reimagining healthcare at Hawaii Pacific Health, we're really talking about you. Because making it easier for you to be healthier is what it's all about. With video visits to see your doctor from anywhere. With virtual urgent care. With more clinics near where you live and work. And with a personalized approach that focuses on prevention. We're reimagining healthcare for you. Visit hawaiipacifichealth.org/telehealth.
Small businesses who switch to Spectrum Business can cut their internet and phone bill in half.
Spectrum Business can cut my bill in half. Really?
It's true. You're overpaying and we can prove it. Grab your bill and visit spectrum.com/business calculator. In just 3 easy steps, you'll see your savings.
Wow. I can save over $1,500 a year.
That's real savings. See for yourself. Visit spectrum.com/business calculator and make the switch today. Restrictions apply.
Catch all your postseason and NFL action at Rivals Sports Bar and Lounge. At Rivals, they are doing their part to help get rid of Corona, so enjoy $4 Coronas and $4 Tullamore Irish Whiskey. goes great with Waikiki's best wings and a slice of Waikiki pizza. As always, Rivals is following strict safety guidelines, so enjoy the NFL safely with friends, brews, shots, and great food at Rivals Waikiki on Kuhio in the Waikiki Malia by Outrigger.
I've got the pothole blues, it's the same old news. Every time I hit the streets, my car takes a beat. My alignment is off and my tires are shot. I need to find a way to lose these pothole blues.
It's okay to sing along, but you don't need to have the pothole blues. Lex Brody's Tire, Brake, and Service Company knows how to cheer you up. First, smiling and welcoming faces. Then, the best value on the island for your wheel alignments, tires, and brakes. Whether it's called our Lex Advantage or our Lex Appeal, we are your best value and choice for Michelin and Toyo tires and brake repairs. Wear your University of Hawaii logoed hat or shirt when you visit an Oahu Lex Brody's location and get an additional 5% off your purchase. Go to LexBrodys.com for more details and for our other Super Saver coupons. Thank you very much.
When you feel like Vegas, there's just one place to stay. Grab a drink at the Holo Holo Bar. There's just one place to play. We got a fresh, hot look, a new sports book. We got those local meals, just like Auntie cooks. Aloha spoken here.
Get back to Vegas with Vacations Hawaii. Airfare, hotel, meals, and transfers, just $777.
This is the Rivals Pregame Show on ESPN Honolulu.
Gary Dickman and Derrick Lowe getting ready for Hawaii versus Cal Poly in Big West play. That's coming up in about 45 minutes, and we'll have our special guest join us in less than a minute. The breaking news that I was talking about before the break, it is official. The University of Hawaii does have a head football coach. His name is Timmy Chang. He does get the job, and we congratulate Timmy Chang on that. Much more on that on all of our shows on Monday with Bobby, Josh, and the Sports Animals. But congratulations, Timmy Chang. The search is over. Now we want to welcome our very special guest, and this is an honor to have all three of us on the line together talking. Two of the three of us are two of the greatest high school basketball players the state has ever seen. I'm not one of them. That's obvious to anybody who's ever seen me play basketball. We have Derrick Lowe here. We are joined by former Beau, Alika Smith. Alika, thank you so much for joining us. How is everything going for you these days?
It's going good, but your statement earlier, I'm not sure. I thought I heard you tell me you're a legend.
There we go. We lost you at the beginning. Who were you calling yourself or Derrick a legend? Or me?
No, my previous conversations with you, I thought you said you were a legend back in the day.
In my mind, I was, but don't quite meet the standards that you and Derrick had. How is everything going for you? I know you're coaching these days, aren't you?
Yes, I am. It's going good. I'm just glad the kids are able to play to a certain extent. You know, we want parents to watch, but as long as the kids are playing, I think it's a very, very good thing.
So you're coaching the girls basketball team at Waikiki High School in the Big Island, correct?
Yes, sir.
And your season has started already, I'm assuming, or?
Yeah. So we're about, 5 games in, and I think we're 4-1. We just lost to Kona last week. So, you know, it's going good, and the development of the girls is going as planned. They're real young. So, you know, we just look to get better every day.
Well, we're glad you are coaching involved in basketball back in Hawaii. Before I send it over to Derrick, I just want to talk about the 98 season. We have so much that we could talk about for hours. That was such a magical season. The wins over Indiana, the win over Kansas, #2 in the country, in the Rainbow Classic. What is your memory as far as the Kansas game especially? Sold-out crowd. That is one of the best experiences I can recall in the Stan Sheriff Center. What was it like being on the court and beating such a big team like Kansas?
Well, you know, it was unbelievable because everything we worked towards was right in front of us. You know, we played BYU the first round of that tournament, and then we had a chance to play Tyronn Lue in Nebraska in the semis. So when we went up against Kansas, it was ours for the taking. Meaning we had nothing to lose, and we're playing in our arena. But I just remember standing on the court when, you know, it was pretty much the game was over, just how many people were in there. I know it was over capacity, so but just how loud it was and how exciting it was for them, because those are some great fans, and that's what I really, really remember.
With the Indiana game, I wasn't here for that game. I think I was on a vacation or something, but we all heard the story that Bobby Knight walked back to his hotel. I understand. I'm not sure if it was you, but were there players on the team who actually saw him walking back to Waikiki?
It was actually AC and I.
Okay, it was you then.
He picked me up from the dorms, and we're driving to Waikiki to grab something to eat, and sure enough, he was walking, and it was funny because he was really upset after the game, because I think one of his quotes were, "They're making it seem like they just won a national championship," but in that sense, it was our national championship. We don't get to play teams like that, and to perform as we did as a team, it was really gratifying.
Should have given him a ride. We're talking with Alika Smith here on the Rivals Pregame Show on ESPN Honolulu and Facebook Live. I know Derrick has some comments he'd like to share with you or talk to you about.
Oh, yeah. Alika, I just want to share a story with you, Alika, real quick. I don't think I told anyone this, and I don't even know if Ryan Hirata remembers, but Ryan's dad used to have season tickets to watch all of Alika them's games, AC Carter them. So you talk about the arena being full capacity. We were in every single one of those games sitting on top. But I remember, so we had season tickets. And I remember one time, me and Ryan and our family, we were walking through Waikiki, just like you guys are talking. And me and Ryan noticed, we're like, hey, that's Alika Smith. He's walking. And then Alika walked into, I think it was probably the ABC store. He walked in the ABC store, and then we're looking at our parents. We're like, we're going to talk to him. And then so me and Ryan, and we must have been little, right? So me and Ryan went into the ABC store. We tugged on, we tapped him on the shoulder. We're like, "Mr. Alika Smith," like, hello. We shook his hands, and then we met him, and then we left the ABC store. Like, me and Ryan were like, "Oh man, we're not gonna wash our hands, man. We're not gonna wash our hands. We're gonna be able to shoot. We're gonna be able to shoot." But yeah, that was my one story I wanted to share with you. You were a joy to watch, and inspiring all of us basketball players growing up.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. But you still should have ended up at University of Hawaii.
I wonder if that makes Alika feel old or as a compliment as well. Hey, Alika, can you tell us any cool stories about Riley Wallace that we might not be aware of?
Shoot, there's some that I can't repeat.
Yeah, the ones that you can repeat, I guess we'll listen.
But
we'll down to that.
My personal experience with him was he was a business guy when I was playing for him, and when I played for him, he would do things like, he would walk by you, only you and him, or you and another player down a hallway, and he wouldn't even acknowledge you. He'd just walk right by you. And I'm like, oh, wow, okay. But when I got hired by him, it was like a 180. That man took care of me. Well, he gave me the opportunity to play at the University of Hawaii, so I'm so thankful for that. But working for him was a 180. The guy took care of me. Every day he wanted company for lunch, and he was buying. So it was something to be said on what kind of person he was. I still keep in contact with. I just saw him last summer. So it's one of those things where I'm very grateful, and I owe a lot to him.
Yeah, some great memories, obviously, there. You and Anthony Carter, you and AC, the Midnight Madness, Batman and Robin, so many great memories. What was it like playing with a player like that? You guys really formed one of the best backcourts in the country those 2 years.
Well, it was funny because I was just telling this story because someone asked about AC, and I think we played 2 games his first year there. And I went from the point, and I moved over. He went to the shooting guard. I was at the point. And after the first 2 games, we got called in for a meeting. And he said, Smith, you're going to shooting guard. AC, you're going to the point guard. He goes, why? He goes, because he can't shoot with a lick. So that's how I ended up as a shooting guard. But AC was a once-in-a-lifetime player. He played with energy, so you wanted to play with energy. He had the ability to score, but at the same time, he loved to pass. And he made my career. I can say that wholeheartedly. He was a huge part of my success. I would like to say I'm a little bit of his in college, quote unquote, but he was such a good friend and a joy to play with. But you know, Gary, you know him. He was a better person. He was down to earth, and you know, he was a great guy.
Here's a hard question to answer. If you don't want to answer it, I understand. The 98 team, a lot of people thought could go to the NCAA tournament, fell a little short, did pretty well in the NIT. Which team was better, your 98 team or the Hawaii team that won an NCAA tournament game in 2016? I know it's a hard question. If you don't want to answer it, I understand.
It is a hard question, and you know, I've been asked those questions before, and I always say that, you know, we're all rainbows. We're all great competitors. I would like to say our team was, but I'm sure they'll say the same. But the funny thing is
you can't go wrong, right, with any of those answers, I guess.
Yeah, but the funny thing is the one that I always say is, I said, we played in a tough conference where we had the Utahs with, you know, Keith Van Horn, Andre Miller and all those guys, to BYU, to Fresno State, Chris Herron. And then you go down to TCU, Lee Nalon, and New Mexico, and all those teams. And we ended up winning the conference, or, you know, the western side of it. So I thought that was a huge accomplishment, but we did fall short. But, you know, and I may be biased, but, you know, I really, really liked our team.
Yeah, both were great, and you bring up a good point, though. I mean, nobody really can dispute. The Big West, I think, deserves more credit than they get, but the WAC in those days when you played, you just mentioned some of the teams, and more specifically the players, was definitely a better conference than the Big West has been the last few years. That's just the reality of it, so there's no disputing that. What other memories of your career do you really stand out when you were at UH, whether it's fans, other games besides Indiana and Kansas, and teammates? What else do you remember the most?
You know, those first few years, I really took it for granted. You know, the fans were great, but when it really popped into my head was our senior night. And, you know, my final shot, I shot a three-pointer with my little brother. But after that, we sat on a long table underneath the basket, and then you just looked up and had lines and lines and lines of people just snake throughout the arena, coming down to, you know, for us to sign autographs and everything. Right. I think that was, you know, although a little late in my sense, but just the appreciation that I had of where I was at and who helped me get there, and those fans and how good they were.
See, Derrick Lowe might be even too young for this, but I guess he went to the games when you were there. But when you were playing and they started the Midnight Madness, I mean, that thing was a huge success. They were all big crowds there. It dwindled down not only here but around the country, maybe wearing out its welcome in places. But those first few years, that was a big event, and there were a lot of people for those scrimmages, the dunk contest. Those were big nights, weren't they?
They were. They were exciting nights, too. And I don't know who came up with okay, Batman and Robin, I get it. But for us to actually dress up like that
yeah.
and come out in a limousine, it was good. But the one I remember was the year after I left, or after I finished my playing career. I came back, and that was Aaron Galloway's senior year. Correct me if I'm wrong, Gary. He came in on a helicopter.
Yes, and everybody believed, myself included, there was on the scoreboard, they showed the helicopter landing in the parking lot outside of the arena, and I thought it had just landed. I found out a day or so later from Rich Sheriff that was taped a few days earlier. There wasn't a helicopter landing with all those people right around, but it looked that way, and a lot of people believe that was a great effect, wasn't it?
It was, but then he let me down by missing the dunk.
Oh, he did? That I don't remember. I just remember the helicopter and the wind and all that stuff.
But it was, you know, they had some good ones. Even when I coached, you know, one of my duties, Riley, was go down to go get a coffin, go pick up a coffin. I'm like, go pick up a coffin? What? So he came in his last year in a coffin and came out and yelled, "I'm not dead yet."
Wow. That I don't remember. That's a strange request. Yeah. That is for sure. Well, it was great catching up with you. We're glad you're in Hawaii doing a good job coaching on the Big Island. Hopefully we can talk to you from time to time. Thanks again for sharing some memories with us.
Thank you. Take it easy. Thank you, Derrick.
All right, thank you.
See you, Alika.
Alika
Okay.
Smith joining us here on the Rivals pregame show, talking about his great career, and those were great memories. So you, Derrick, you were going to games, and you were a young kid at that time, but those must have been special nights for even a young kid because the crowds were just electric. I mean, we get good crowds now, but to be honest, nothing near what was taking place in the late 90s. AC and Alika was an event. Everybody had to be there. Tickets were hard to get. Those were really good times.
I tell you, we were at those midnight madnesses. Like, we were there late at night. We went to watch the dunk contest, scrimmage, everything. Back then, it was like festivities, right? Because it was like Halloween, if I'm not mistaken. So, everyone was or dressed up or whatever.
Yeah.
And what do you call and then so like I remember it's full crowd. It was sold out. It was like 10,000 people maybe. So it was crazy.
The first couple of years, even in the concourse, they had games to play, events, contests. We had dartboards there from where I was working at the time. There were a lot of things going on. There was events, and then you could walk on the court and meet the players. And I wish that would still take place. I'm a night guy, so I loved it. I know some people thought it might have been too late for them, but it was better than not having it. And it's just around the country where it kind of disappeared little by little, but those were great nights and great memories. We're going to take a break and hopefully have some new memories created with this team. We're going to talk about Hawaii's opponent, Cal Poly. The Mustangs are the team that has beaten Hawaii 3 times in a row at Cal Poly. We'll tell you more about their team, get you caught up with the Big West scores and standing, and also our H-Factor player of the game is coming up as well on the Rivals pregame show on ESPN Honolulu and Facebook.
Meadow Gold Dairies Hawaii is honored to support University of Hawaii as their official milk partner, nourishing and fueling UH athletics with chocolate milk, white milk, orange juice, and POG. Meadow Gold is proud to provide families in Hawaii with the best dairy, juice, and ice cream products for over 124 years. As our University of Hawaii continues their quest to win and become champions, we celebrate their success. Go Bows!
Catch all your postseason NFL action at Rivals Sports Bar and Lounge. At Rivals, they are doing their part to help get rid of Corona, so enjoy $4 Coronas and $4 Tullamore Irish Whiskey. Goes great with Waikiki's best wings and a slice of Waikiki pizza. As always, Rivals is following strict safety guidelines, so enjoy the NFL safely with friends, brews, shots, and great food at Rivals Waikiki on Kuhio in the Waikiki Malia by Outrigger.
Have you been to Midas Hawaii?
Hello, Tim here from Midas Hawaii, where we are more than just mufflers. We are complete auto care, rated #1 in customer service. We strive to make your experience more enjoyable, whether it be for a walk-in safety check 6 days a week, brakes to radiators, or oil changes and steering. With 6 locations on Oahu, 2 on the Big Island, 1 on Kauai, our goal is to expedite your service and get you back out on the road. We also want to help you save money. For great rates, check out our webpage at MidasHawaii.com for specials, online deals, for services such as oil change, safety checks, and maintenance packages. And let's not forget about our tire services too. Midas is a one-stop shop for all your car care needs and is proud to be locally owned and operated by the Pereira family. Come in today or call us for an appointment. Remember, it always pays to have the Midas touch.
Came for this, so we do that. So we might as well.
In today's hectic world, you could use a little more easy, like our digital loan applications that take paper out of the paperwork. It's the modern way to apply for a loan, whether you're on your computer at home, calling in by phone, or visiting us in person. Our touchless palm scanner uses biometric technology to confirm your identity. Just wave your hand. No more fumbling for your driver's license. And if you'd like to skip the teller line altogether, our self-service interactive teller machines give you instant control over most everyday transactions. Cash a check, deposit funds, or make loan payments. Now you can bank any way you choose. Easy is about offering more choices and helpful service that's always right by you. We're Hawaii State Federal Credit Union, and in a hectic world, easy sure feels good. Hawaii residency required for new accounts, federally insured by NCUA.
This is the Rivals pregame show on ESPN Honolulu.
Gary Dickman and Derrick Lowe here getting ready for Hawaii going up against Cal Poly starting at 5 o'clock. Bobby Curran will take over at 4:50 and give you the starting lineup. Some breaking news if you are just tuning in. Just within the last 30 minutes or so, Timmy Chang has been named the new head football coach for the University of Hawaii. So we can put that to rest, and we're glad for Timmy. We congratulate him, and we'll have a lot more on the shows throughout the week. Derrick, let's talk a little bit about Cal Poly, the opponent for tonight. They are usually the last place team in the Big West. They haven't made the tournament in recent years. They're 4-11 overall. They just won their first Big West game recently, and like everybody else, they did have that layoff due to COVID. They beat Cal State, CSU Bakersfield. That's the proper way. CSU Bakersfield. When I look at their roster and all their numbers, it's very, very similar to Bakersfield. I mean, they shoot 41%. So did CSU Bakersfield. Their defense lets up 41% shooting, exactly the same, 41.1, similar to Bakersfield. They don't shoot well on threes. They have a lineup where nobody averages over 29 minutes a game. They play a deep bench like CSU Bakersfield. They seem very similar. I think Bakersfield was the better team, although, again, Cal Poly beat them. The thing to remember also, even though Hawaii beat Poly last year at home by 17 and 16 points, as I said earlier, they've lost 3 straight times at Cal Poly. I'm sure Ron Gannat is reminding the team of that today.
Oh, definitely, and it's a road game, so even more emphasis will be put on that, right? Yeah, like you said, just because this team is picked, to finish towards the bottom of the conference, it doesn't mean much. That any team is dangerous, and they shoot decently, even though 3-point shooting is not their main game plan. That's not their priority. In fact, I would go and say that their priority is literally to get the ball into the paint. Oftentimes, this team, with Alimami Koroma, right? Yeah. He's a dominating force inside, and they look to go to him often, always checking for him. Whether Koroma is setting away screens and then just diving to the center and getting big or whatnot, but they're always looking to go inside. And so, they definitely will give UH their fair share of challenges. But, the way UH is playing together, tough, sound, I definitely think they're going to come out on top.
They lost to Bakersfield early this week. I might not have said it right earlier. They beat Davis was their only win. In that win, other than that game against Bakersfield, Alimami Koroma had 18 points. He is their leading scorer at 13.3. Their second leading scorer is out right now, Jacob Davison. He's averaging 11.9. He's only played in 7 games, and he started 5. He did not play the other night, so looks like their bench is a little shorter. Their lineup's a little shorter. I wonder, and you played college basketball, as we deferred to you on these kind of topics, is there such a thing as a trap game? And the reason I mention that, if Hawaii wins tonight, and we'll give you the scores of the Big West in a little bit, UC San Diego is playing Fullerton. It doesn't count for Fullerton. They're 4-0, Hawaii's 3-0. If Hawaii wins, they're tied with Fullerton at 4-0, regardless of what happens in their game. And I'm sure they're aware of that. Is there something of a trap game where maybe you're overlooking an opponent that you usually beat, at least at home, and with your success in recent games?
There's only a trap game if you let your guard down, right? If you take the opponent for granted, if you just simply look over them and think you're going to win just because you're better than them or you're picked to finish higher than them. But, like I said, the good teams, the best teams in the conference or in the nation, however you want to look at it, are the ones that win the games that they're supposed to win. Take care of business at home, get as many road games as possible. And of course, you're going to lose some games or whatnot, but you got to take care of business with the games that you're supposed to win. And you got to have the right mentality. And I don't think Coach Gannat is going to, and his team are going to have any problem with overlooking this team. No ways. I don't believe it. I think they're going to come in with the right attitude. They want to come off this road trip with 2 wins. They want to come back home, feeling good about protecting their house. So I definitely expect them to come out hard, as if Cal Poly is ranked higher.
And I'm sure Ron, again, is going to remind them the last 3 trips to Cal Poly they have lost. Even when Hawaii's had success, it is a dangerous play. Another similarity with Cal Poly and CSU Bakersfield, their starting point guard, both listed at 5'10". I mean, the irony is amazing with the similarities. His name is Cameron Pierce. He's fourth in the Big West in assists, only averaging about 3.8, but he's had 2 games in conference where he's had 8 assists. So we'll be aware of that, but a lot of similarities. Hopefully another similarity will be a win for Hawaii like it was on Thursday night. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll take you around the Big West, give you the scoreboard, updated standing, and also Derrick and I will give you the H-factor player of the game, the player we feel will have a lot of impact on Hawaii's possible success today. You're listening to the Rivals Pregame Show, brought to you by Rivals Sports Bar and Lounge. For every sport, for every game, for everyone, and the Waikiki Malia by Outrigger.
Here's a team physician tip from Dr. J. Marumoto.
Although torn ACLs almost always require surgery, other knee ligament tears can often heal with proper treatment and rehabilitation with care from Orthopedic Associates.
Dr. J. Marumoto is the University of Hawaii's most senior team surgeon. For the most advanced sports injury care, contact Orthopedic Associates at 536-2261 or go to oahawaii.com. Orthopedic Associates, Hawaii's team physicians.
Catch all your postseason NFL action at Rivals Sports Bar and Lounge. At Rivals, they are doing their part to help get rid of Corona, so enjoy $4 Coronas and $4 Tullamore Irish Whiskey. Goes great with Waikiki's best wings and a slice of Waikiki pizza. As always, Rivals is following strict safety guidelines, so enjoy the NFL safely with friends, brews, shots, and great food at Rivals Waikiki on Kuhio in the Waikiki Malia by Outrigger.
In need of cash for home improvements, bill consolidation, tuition, or other expenses? Apply now for a cash-out refinance loan from Finance Factors. Mortgage rates are still low, so it's not too late to refinance your current loan to take cash out to finance other essentials. Finance Factors offers some of the lowest mortgage rates in Hawaii. Call 808-522-2000 or apply online at financefactors.com. Finance Factors, equal housing lender, NMLS number 449916.
Brother, what you doing now?
I'm doing my own PV system, and I get homey fall-proof gear.
Brother, I don't think bubble wrap and duct tape going to work.
Yeah, I get them. Check this out.
Okay. Brother, you okay?
I think that heat expanding stuff is true. Getting small and hot in here.
Oh, no.
It's raining over here. How we pump all the stuff?
Oh,
careful.
Make sure to have an electrical contractor and licensed electrician do your photovoltaic installations and electrical work.
IBEW Local 1186, lighting your path to the future.
Are you wondering what to do with that spare car or truck of yours? Maybe you thought about selling it but don't want the hassle. You considered giving it to a friend, but you're not sure if that'll work out. The answer is simple, my friend. Donate your car to Kidney Cars. Yep, the National Kidney Foundation of Hawaii makes donating quick and easy, and you'll get a great tax deduction. So go online today to kidneyhi.org and schedule a free Kidney Cars pickup. That's kidneyhi.org.
PAXA is Hawaii's premier technology provider and systems integrator. They harness the power of bleeding-edge technologies to help local businesses realize their full potential. Their team delivers customized IT solutions that enable nearly 400 commercial, government, and nonprofit organizations across the state to maximize opportunities and pursue innovation. To learn more, visit their website at paxa.com. That's PACXA.com.
This is the Rivals Pregame Show on ESPN Honolulu.
A few minutes away before we send it over to Bobby Curran, who is at Cal Poly getting ready for tip-off. He'll give us the starting lineups and all the latest news. Real quick, one more time, if you haven't heard, Timmy Chang, the new football coach, the head football coach at the University of Hawaii. I will talk to you guys at halftime, give you some stats and updates. Derrick, right now, our H player of the game, the player we feel will be more of an impact, hopefully, for Hawaii's success. I'm going to go with Kamaka Hepa. I know he has struggled offensively as of late. I know he has it in him to have a really big-time production offensively. I think he'll improve on his 1 of 7 shooting from Thursday, and I'm going with Kamaka.
Good choice. I'm going to go with Noel Coleman, but I'm not going to take the easy way out and say he got to score because he's the main guy. You know, Cal Poly's defense, they like to shrink the court. They like to, especially when the ball gets to the wing, they like to ice it and keep it on that side and prevent ball reversal. So I'm just trying to think, if Noel Coleman gets the ball on the wing, you know, can he take care of the ball? Can he put the ball on the ground on the floor, attack the basket, and kick back to the shooters, right? Or can he create plays while they ice him towards the baseline? So, you know, I just want to see him stay aggressive, stay active, and just continue to create plays. So I'm going to go with him.
Not a bad choice on your side as well. Let's look at the Big West and some of the scores from today. One game in the books, and Long Beach State, they have only got one loss this season in Big West play, and that was against Hawaii 2 weeks ago today. Since then, they have not lost. They are 3-1 in the conference after beating Irvine. Irvine loses 73-67. Irvine now 1-3 in Big West play. Another game in progress. It doesn't count in the Big West standing. UC San Diego, with 4 minutes left in the first half, leads Fullerton 35-30. But again, if Fullerton loses, it won't impact their Big West Conference standing. The other game besides Hawaii and Cal Poly today is UC Riverside at CSUN. That will start in 15 minutes. UC Davis and Santa Barbara was canceled. Santa Barbara had both games this week canceled. They are Hawaii's opponent next Saturday. Let's hope everything with the protocols can be fixed and everybody's healthy enough for that game to be played. Hawaii will have CSUN Thursday and Santa Barbara Saturday scheduled here at the Stan Sheriff Center. So in the standings right now, Hawaii has a chance to tie Fullerton if they win. Fullerton 4-0, Hawaii 3-0. And then you got Long Beach State at 3-1, Riverside at 2-1, Davis at 1-1, and Irvine now with 3 losses. I think that is significant. The teams that are picked at the top, Irvine with 3 losses, and Santa Barbara sticking at 0-2. More on that at halftime. We're going to wrap it up. When we return, you will hear Bobby Curran getting us ready for tip-off. Hawaii at Cal Poly on ESPN Honolulu.
Whether you need a financial boost for tuition, a wedding, or to consolidate high-interest debt, start the new year right with a special fixed-rate New Year's loan from Hawaii USA Federal Credit Union. Rates are as low as 1.99% APR for 12 months, but only available for a limited time. Visit hawaiiusafcu.com/holiday to learn more and apply. Loan details also available by calling 1-800-379-1300. Hawaii USA Federal Credit Union. Life matters. Insured by NCUA and Equal Housing Lender.
Catch all your postseason NFL action at Rivals Sports Bar and Lounge. At Rivals, they are doing their part to help get rid of Corona. So enjoy $4 Coronas and $4 Tullamore Irish Whiskey. Goes great with Waikiki's best wings and a slice of Waikiki pizza. As always, Rivals is following strict safety guidelines. So enjoy the NFL safely with friends, brews, shots, and great food at Rivals Waikiki on Kuhio in the Waikiki